what we're going to do now is, if you're interested in a coaching program that is that's the expansion of book school called Scribe Writers Room, that's what we're going to talk about now. You can see in the chat, Susan Quinn is in Writers Room, and she's writing about it right now. She's been a fantastic member, has really dove in, and she's done a lot of difficult emotional work and like stuff with her family and stuff she's posted about in the group, which has been pretty phenomenal to watch her kind of work through. But we're going to talk about that, what it is. If you are absolutely uninterested, no problem. You probably want to drop off now. If you're curious, that's what we're going to talk about. And then we'll take questions about this, and then we'll be done. All right. So we have a guiding principle at Scribe. Our information is always free, right? But our time and our professional expertise and our individualized editing, publishing services, all that costs money, of course. We're a service firm, right? So after the first book school workshop, we were kind of overwhelmed with requests for people. They wanted to buy personalized coaching and editing services. But the problem is we only had like these really big high ticket packages that were like really kind of complex and they were full, everything start to finish. We didn't really have a more cost-effective just book coaching package. So we asked people what they wanted, and then people like, God, the chat went crazy. I went through all of the chat, and then we kind of figured out, all right, what could we build? And then we came up with Scribe Writers Room. And so obviously you don't need this to finish your book. All the information you need is there. This is a different set of things. If you, and I'll explain what it is. If you need like personalized coaching, one-on-one coaching, editorial support, things like that, that's what Writers Room provides. It's a whole set of services, time, and expertise, right? So let's go into the details. The first big one is the private writing community. So remember we talked about all those Facebook posts you saw? We have a huge Facebook group. We actually have 3 different ones for different tiers, but the Writers Room one is a great one. We post every day, like it's very active. You don't know how, but he's one of our editors. Emily and I were in there every day. I post my word count every day. Emily posts hers every day, plus hundreds of other people. This is just, examples. Tamar said, 3 p.m. I hadn't written. I just stopped everything 40 minutes to honor the commitment. Grateful I stuck to my word. Thanks for the excellent coaching today, right? Christopher says, shout out to Scribe team. So many times your advice pops up, gets me back on track. Things like this, right? There's me, I wrote, I only wrote for 20 minutes in a burst, things like that, right? And, I'm in there all the time. So you have questions, you have comments, I can't tell you how many times we've helped people work through stuff in there. Then you also get a weekly 1-hour Q&A with editors. So like on Zoom, like what we're doing, it's not a webinar, it's a meeting. So it's everyone's on it. And then you come with your problems, you come with your issues, and we help you work through them. They're really effective for people. So like literally at a minimum, you can spend an hour a week on a call with editors helping you work through things. Susanna, who's actually in the chat right now, this is a screenshot from her. Great Q&A hours today. I'm getting so much value in hearing from others in the group, right? Then also, big one, you get 3 private consults with editors. So 3 up to an hour a piece with either Emily or Hal. Emily is like obviously the person who's here. Hal is not on this workshop, but he's our editor-in-chief at Scribe and a fantastic writer. And so, Matt said, after my positioning outline review with Emily, so great advice on taking the plunge to do my vomit draft, feeling energized. Jessica, same thing, had an awesome session with Hal today, kicking off my writing tomorrow. We do quarterly author roundtables. So the first one, we had Tim Ferriss as the guest. The next one, I'm not sure who we're going to have, but it'll be someone pretty good. We also do quarterly masterclasses, which are different, which is a deep dive with me into new trainings that are exclusively for Writers Room. So the first one we did was research. Then the next one's going to be, it says resistance on here. I think we're going to call it the psychology of writing a book. And then we're going to do business storytelling. So like when I do the masterclass, it's like I come in, I do the training, and then it's private for the Writers Room people. And then all the Writers Room people are there and can ask me questions. And then it's like a Q&A with me over that specific training. We often do put the trainings on our YouTube channel later, but then obviously you don't get to ask questions. You don't get to interact with me. You just have to watch it. You get a discount up to 30% or sometimes more actually, depending on the service, on other additional editorial services if you want more time. This is a 1-year program. It's 1 year or 18 months, depending on which, there's 3 different tiers you can buy, but you get a full year of access. And then right, signing up for book school is one of the best decisions. And then you also get a discount on publishing, which is normally hold on, I gotta move this thing out of my way. Normally it's 10 grand for publishing, but you get a discount on that if you're in the program. And then also you get our full marketing and publishing courses. So like literally like the publishing course is already free, but the marketing course is not free. It's not on the site. We don't even sell it. It's only available through Writers Program. And it is the absolute step-by-step, just like book school. How do you market your book? What's number one? What's number two? What's number three? Email templates, landing pages, everything you need to know is all in there, right? So the price for the package is, the basic package is called Coached Author. It's $16.47 if you pay up front. Otherwise, you can do 4 monthly payments of $4.99, which is a little bit more because you're doing monthly, right? And then if you want to add editing, then we have what's called the Hurt Your Feelings edit, which is like, it's someone like Emily dives in and they spend about half a week to a week reading the whole thing, really getting a handle of it, doing line-by-line editing, doing structural editing, diving fully in. We call it Hurt Your Feelings because we make a promise. We're going to hurt your feelings before we let you publish a bad book. Like, we're going to tell you everything wrong with it and right, and then how we think you should fix it. The price of that program is $6 grand. So it's all of Coached Author just plus editing. That's it. Or 4 payments is $1,600 or so. And then the big package, the one that is like, if you're committed, if you know I'm going to write this book, I'm going to publish this book, it's going out, then the one you want is called Guided Author, right? So in addition, you get to everything I just talked about, you get a 2-day online book coaching workshop. So sort of like this, except it's usually about 15 to 20 people, plus me, Emily, Hal, and then another editor, Chaz. And it's very individualized. It's led by me and my senior editors, and we walk you through every piece of your book. And we really dive deep. So it's like we take the coaching as assumed. Like, you've gone through all the videos, and then now we go into your book with you. And usually in small groups and doing feedback and all that. It's kind of like a huge individual book masterclass rolled into 2 days. Just like this, it's like a bunch of us on. And then also you get full editing, the Hurt Your Feelings edit, and you get full publishing. And I mean like our full entire publishing service. So book cover, like everything, interior layout, like the first week of marketing, it's everything we do all rolled into one package, right? Right. You get literally, it's just done for you, all of it. So we normally, and it's a pretty amazing deal. We normally charge $10K just for publishing, but for this, it's like, coaching is 16, content's 5. If you're buying these independently, book coaching's 5, publishing's 10, and then you buy them all together, it's 16,000. So to go from where you are here to a totally finished published book, 16,000 you pay it up front, or you can do 12 payments of 1,500, like a payment a month for a year. Either one. This is by far the best value. Like, if you're committed, though, don't do this if you're not committed. If you're not committed, you want to do Coached Author. That's 1,600 total, and then you get all of that stuff we talked about at the beginning. It's a really, really good program, and then you can always upgrade later. But if you're committed, you want you want to join the elite group right away, and you want that push, and not just a push, but you want to prove to yourself you're committed. It's a really good program. So let's talk about who should not be joining this real quick. It's not for everyone. Don't join if the cost would be a severe hardship. Like, if you have to put this on your credit card and you're eking out interest payments, don't do that. That's not, I don't want you to have to stress over money. That's a great way to not write a good book because you're too stressed about money, right? This is not a good program if you want someone else to do the work for you. Like, we're not doing your work. We're going to absolutely help you and be there to support you and assist you and answer your questions and make sure you're on the right track and all that, but we're not doing any of your work for you, right? And if you aren't willing to do your work, don't waste your money. It's not the right thing. Like, if you're committed to yourself and to your book, we're there for you. If you're kind of half-ass and you're not sure, just wait until you're ready to do it, and then you can join that. So who should join? If you really value a supportive community that's going to encourage and lift you up, this is great. Like, Michelle and Joy are both members of Writers Room, and she's like, they're thanking each other for helping inspire each other. It had nothing to do with us, right? So everyone in there is a good person who's really working on their book and is trying to get it done just like you are, right? If you want peace of mind from knowing that, like, We're always here to answer your questions. Wrote some more today, more significantly got great direction from Hal on how to tighten book positioning. You can post a question in that group, that Facebook group. I'll be shocked if you go more than 24 hours without an answer. Usually you're getting an answer in 3 hours. Sometimes if you post it like 3 a.m. on Saturday, then maybe it'll be Sunday night before you get it, right? You get an answer. But even then, a lot of times, like, because if I get up early before my kids on Saturday, I'm writing, I'll check Facebook, I'll go through and answer this stuff. So I can't think, we never miss posts and almost always get to them in just a few hours. Also, if you want personalized one-on-one book coaching, this is it. This is the program. Like, you're going to get with coached author, you get 3 calls. With guided author, you're getting those 3 calls plus 2 full days of individualized coaching. You get so much coaching. It's like kind of ridiculous, actually. Shayla says, I had an amazing call with Emily about my positioning. She helped me feel super confident about the direction. So glad I paused my writing to get clear. Okay. So, if you're in the program, you don't have to worry about if you're doing the right thing, because we'll always help you know. You don't have to worry about if your book's good enough. We'll always tell you. We're going to look at your work and tell you if it's good and how to make it better, right? Also, if you want a comprehensive system, takes you from start to finish, and then also people who care if you succeed. That's us. That's what Writer's Room is, right? Brita kind of sums it up really well. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Going through this entire process has been amazing, changed my life. I don't know if I've ever had such an amazing team who totally had my back my entire life. I can't imagine trying to write a book without support and knowledge. There's a bunch more. I won't read them all. That's the link. It's in the chat. So Kevin Harrington's actually a client of ours. So I always he's the guy who invented the infomercial, but wait, there's more. He was on Shark Tank too. There is another thing we'll do. If you sign up today, then you get the swag pack. So this is the notebook that's there. This is like a custom Moleskine type with a little what is it called? It's not imprinted. It's
embossed.
Embossed, right? The little you can kind of see it in the light there, right there. Yeah. I love this. These are and the pen, the Scribe pen. This is a Bertolli pen. These things are ridiculous. How even at scale, we bought 1,000 of these, and they were still insanely expensive. We have good stuff because I use all this stuff. The cup we got new. I got to tell you, we got a new swag cup. Those are the old coffee mugs, the ceramic ones. We got the new metal ones, which are awesome. You get a picture or a copy of the book. We don't have a book on how to write a memoir yet, so you don't get that. We'll send that to you when it's done. I'm writing that now. I'm about to start it, actually. And then a bunch of other cool stuff. So that's all the stuff you get. Let's take any questions now about Writer's Room. Happy to take. And yeah, Susan says, it's amazing. Tucker's telling you who it's not for, but if you're on the fence, the value of the weekly calls is more than what they're called. I think you're right, Susan. I mean, but again, I'm biased, right? Wow, we got great testimonials in here. I didn't know that they were going to come and do this. Thank you guys all, Susan and Suzanne and all of you who were giving testimonials. I swear to God, we did not organize this ahead of time. I swear to God. We didn't. Chris, amazing. I wish I could have been part of the first group, but number 1 kept me from doing so. Wish we could buy the swag a la carte. No, we don't sell the swag a la carte. Sorry. Can't wait to join. Budget and amount to save. Okay, cool. No problem, man. We'll be here. No problem. And I think the program will just get better and better. So if you wait longer, it'll just be a better program when you join. I can't believe people want to buy the swag independent, which is, you should. It's amazing swag because I use it. So I was like, okay, I got to make stuff that I'm actually going to use. And not cheap stuff. I hate cheap swag. It's the worst. All right. Any questions, Emily, coming in or not?
No, not about Scribe Writer's Room. There's one about whether it's a good idea to handwrite your first draft, which we cover in the Knowledge Share webinar, but we didn't in this one.
Yeah. I should. It's a great question. You can totally handwrite your first draft. It might be a really good idea, actually, because then you kind of can't go back and fix it. So we've had a lot of people do that, and it works really well.
It also slows your brain down, so it can be a little easier to see what emotions are coming up because you're literally working slower. Yeah. It's really helpful.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
No other questions coming up.
You don't have to ask questions about Writer's Room. If you have them, we're going to prioritize those. But you can ask questions about anything you guys want. It's fine. Whatever you got questions about, let me see. I know you got a hard out in a few minutes, right, Emily?
It's like 20 minutes, so I've got some time.
All right. We'll take a few more questions if there are any.
There's none currently in the Q&A, but somebody did post in the chat earlier. Who are the 3 people that sit at your table of truth, Tucker?
You see, unlike Quan, I don't make it a set of people. I have a rotating cast that depends on the truth I'm speaking and what it's about, right? One of them is this is going to sound really weird, but it's true. My avatar for my young self is actually my son, Bishop. Like, he is so much like me. It's he's my oldest. He's 5 and he's about to turn 6. So much like me. And he's like, what would happen if I was raised in a really loving, emotionally connected household? So he's so much like me, but also very different, you know? And so, like, and honestly, like, it's going to sound sad. It's just the truth. I'm not super emotionally connected with who I was as a young kid. I'm not like, I don't hate it, or like, I'm not pushing it away or ashamed of it. It's just, I didn't have a really happy, fun childhood. So I don't have a ton of those memories. And so it's not easy for me to connect with that a lot of times. Most of the memories aren't very good. Whereas, like, he's had a pretty happy childhood. At least I think he has. I mean, he's always in a great mood, and he's always whatever, fun and playful and whatever. And so, like, I actually think of him a lot of times because, and also I'll tell you, one of our rules in the house, we don't have many, but one of the rules I've always told him since the day he was born, and his sister Vaughn, and our third deacon, although he's a year old, so you don't understand what I'm saying. But I've always told them, I will never tell you a lie. I will always tell you the truth. I might not tell you, I might not tell you everything all the time. Like, they don't know where we keep our guns, right? Because they're kids, and that's not a good idea. But like, I'll always tell you the truth. And so they know, if they ask Daddy a straight question, Daddy's going to give them a straight answer, right? Like, so he asked me, like, Santa Claus. I'm like, no, Santa Claus is not real. Santa Claus, he was a real person, lived a long time ago. And we, like, watched some videos about St. Nicholas and whatever. And then it's like, it's a story we tell and whatever. And like, so yeah, he's the big one. He doesn't change much, which is kind of like, you want to say my 6-year-old myself, it's kind of like me and him combined. The rest just rotate. It just depends, like, depends. Like, if I'm writing something that's for an audience, then someone at my table of truth is in that audience. If I'm like, I just finished a book, the novel is about integration, psychedelic medicine integration, and it's a parable. And one of the people at the table of truth is like one of the people in Scribe, like one of the early people, because a bunch of people in Scribe have now done psychedelic assisted psychotherapy, because they saw I did and whatever. And so I think about, there's a specific person, I don't want to name them because they don't, but specific person that I think about her a lot for that book. But she's not at my table for other books. It really just depends for me who I'm trying to speak to. Yeah, but the one constant is my young self, who my son is my proxy for. There's another one too, I think, who's very, very constant. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but my godparents. So I had appreciated parents, but I had 2 people who were literally godparents who were pretty amazing. Like, the only reason I'm not a sociopath, I think, is because those 2 loved me as a kid. And they're not there all the time, but like, for the important things, they show up, because, like, I could never imagine betraying them. I have them to thank for almost everything. So the way that I think a lot of people are with their parents, I am with them. So if you had good parents, and the way you feel about them, I feel about my godparents. So they're there a lot too, but the rest just rotate.
I include an older future version of myself at my table, like the older version of me that already knows what my truth is, even if I'm still discovering it right now. And she knows if I'm being truthful to myself or not. And she knows what the consequences are going to be if I'm not.
Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't thought about that, but that's a good one.
Melissa entered a follow-up question on this. Should a person at your table be someone who would most pick apart what you are saying?
No, I would never have an argumentative shithead at my table of truth. Never. I hate those people. The nitpicky. It's like people, like I always say, people who are like argue about grammar are people who have nothing to say, right? And I think of nitpickers that way. So no, it's not about arguing with you. It's much more about someone to whom you will not let yourself lie to or betray. Because a lot of times for all of us, for some of us, it's easier. We can betray ourselves, but we never, like I would never betray my son, right? The line I have for myself is unfortunately not quite that good. I'm trying to move there. You do your work, it gets closer and closer, right? Ideally, you care the most about yourself. But as a parent, that shifts a lot of stuff. And so it's much easier for me to it's much easier for me to not betray someone I love deeply and care about externally. It's a sad truth, but that's true.
And Melissa posted a really good clarification. If it's someone who has a different view of a shared memory.
No,
I would argue that's the worst person.
That's the worst. Exact. Thank you. That is the worst person you could put at your table of truth, because this is not called the table of the truth. This is called table of your truth, right? So the point is your truth. Look, I need to put this in the truth thing. Let me put the circles of truth. In all truths, there are 3 circles. Let's say between me and Emily, let's say we have whatever. There's her truth, there's my truth, and then there's the truth, right? And the truth really actually, her truth is here, my truth is here. The truth encircles all of them, because there's a bunch of stuff outside of her circle and my circle that's true that neither of us know. And then if we're really aligned on something, like let's say teaching this, her truth and my truth are like almost a perfect overlap, right? But let's say some other thing, like, you know, she's super Trumpian and I'm not. So our okay.
Wrong read.
But let's just pretend, because it'd be funny. But like our circles would be very much not overlapped, right? Her truth, my truth. But never ever think that anyone has a monopoly on, or even no one has a monopoly on the truth, and I don't believe anyone's truth supersedes yours if we're talking about personal truths, right? Now, this pen is mine, and if it's Emily's truth that it's hers, that's bullshit, right? It's mine. She has her own. So I'm not talking about manipulative nonsense. I'm talking about in an epistemological sense. Someone else's truth does not supersede yours, right? Like if you have an interaction with someone, you negotiate the truth. That's how it works. And how you feel is absolutely valid, 100% every single time. It doesn't mean it creates an obligation in someone. If I feel like Emily owes me money, well, unless there's a way we've negotiated that, no, that's not like she doesn't. That's just a manipulation. But don't ever substitute someone else's truth for yours, or somehow think, well, their truth is valid and mine is not. I don't believe that. I never will.
There's two more questions on the Q&A, and they both go together. Jack asks, do you suggest reading other memoirs as a way to see how it's done?
No,
And Matt asks what other memoirs you'd recommend as good
I
examples.
wouldn't recommend reading any of that because none of that has to do with you writing your memoir. Seriously. If you are just insistent, I've got to read something. Well, just understand that you're delaying. That is a ego defense mechanism you are using to delay your emotional work, which is okay as long as you recognize it. Okay. Understand that. Go read Neon Bible. Read Neon Bible. It's super short. It's like 150 pages. It will show you how to write about emotions. You'll cry and you'll like, okay, that's how to write about emotions. Simply, directly, plainly. That's it.
And that's it for questions.
Sweet. All right. If you want the swag pack, sign up today for Writer's Room. We'd love to have you. There's all kinds of testimonials in the chat. We are out of here. Thank you all, regardless of whether you're in Writer's Room or not. I wish you all luck. We're going to keep producing a bunch of content about this. The content about publishing will be done soon. I honestly don't know how we're going to release it, though. So you can't hold me to anything. We'll do something. I'm not sure what we'll do, but we'll do something around that. It's definitely coming for the people in Writer's Room soon because those people are finishing manuscripts. So I got to get on that. But beyond that, we're going to have a lot more webinars coming, a lot more trainings over the next few months. So excited to have any of you all back. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.